Yesterday, John Dean appeared in front of the House of Representatives to give some testimony and basically a little insight into obstruction of justice. And he said, what Don McGahn, former White House counsel, is doing right now with ignoring subpoenas, it's pretty much obstruction of justice. Well, Matt Gaetz, the Republican representative who unfortunately represents my district here in Florida, didn't want to have any of that, right? He was super mad that John Dean was even there. Jim Jordan from Ohio was super pissed that John Dean got to come in and talk about obstruction of justice. But it was Matt Gaetz and his line of questioning to John Dean that really grabbed the headlines. Because you see, before we watch the clip, let me explain something real quick. Matt Gaetz has described himself, or at least said that he wants to be the conservative AOC. And as we all know from watching Ocasio-Cortez, her lines of questioning are absolutely phenomenal. They blow people away. They become viral clips that go around social media. And Matt Gaetz wants to do that. And he thought for sure he had a home run against John Dean and ended up owning himself in the most spectacular way possible. Here it is.
Do you have personal knowledge regarding the truth or falsity of a single material fact in the Mueller report?
I think if you recall the first thing I said, I'm not here as a fact witness.
You're here to provide historical context.
Exactly.
And throughout history, you accuse presidents of acting like Richard Nixon and you make money off of it, right?
Not all presidents, no.
No, but a few more than one.
Those who do act like him, I pointed out.
Let me ask you this question. How do Democrats plan to pay for Medicare for all?
I'm sorry?
Well, I figured if we were going to ask you about stuff you don't know about, we'd start with the big stuff. So do you know how they plan to pay for Medicare for all?
Who? The Democrats or which candidate? Or can you be more specific?
Let's get specific to Nixon, since that appears to be why you're here. Do you believe?
Well, actually, Nixon did have a health care plan.
Good. Well, do you believe if we turned the lights off here and maybe lit some candles, got out a Ouija board, we could potentially raise the specter of Richard Nixon?
I doubt that.
What's great is that everybody there laughed at Matt Gaetz when John Dean actually was able to answer that question. Well, let's talk about Nixon's health care plan. Yeah, Richard Nixon actually expanded Medicare. Richard Nixon actually had a health care plan that he wanted to put in place that would have mandated employers give you health insurance, and it would have created government subsidies for self-employed and unemployed people, basically trying to make sure that everybody in this country had health insurance. That's actually far more progressive than what we have in place today. Nixon, was a horrible president, but he had a couple of good ideas apparently, and John Dean wasn't afraid to say, hold up, little boy. He did have a plan. Maybe you should have done your homework. Maybe you should crack a book every now and then, Matt Gaetz, instead of a bottle. Maybe that would help you do your job a little bit better. Oh, but Matt Gaetz isn't one to wallow in self-pity for too long. He dusted himself off and did what he does best. He went on Fox News to talk about the investigation. But of course not the investigations into Trump. No, this idiot wants more investigations into Hillary Clinton. Take a look.
The American people are sick and tired of a double standard that seemed to pave a yellow brick road to exoneration for Hillary Clinton when there were clearly crimes committed there, while at the same time casting these aspersions on Donald Trump without a basis as a result of bias. The only reason why we haven't had people thrown in jail yet is because Jeff Sessions did a terrible job as Attorney General.
So what Matt Gaetz is doing here, which is what a lot of the people who just absolutely have an undying cultish love for Donald Trump are doing, is saying these investigations into Trump are stupid. You haven't found anything. Let it go. Meanwhile, we need to investigate Hillary Clinton. She obstructed justice. Or as Trump says, she colluded with Russia. Oh my God, you people are so dumb. Here's the thing. I'm not even a huge fan of Hillary Clinton, and it pisses me off every time you people, Matt Gaetz and Trump and whoever it is, make me have to defend her. But here it is. She testified personally on camera for 11 friggin' hours. 11 hours! The investigations into her led to 0 indictments. She did not, as Republicans claim, delete those 33,000 emails. The FBI was able to recover every single thing they needed. Because she didn't delete them, they went in and made carbon copies of her systems and then took them back to headquarters to be analyzed, which is typically what happens in any kind of cybersecurity investigation. Educate yourself, Republicans! This information is not hidden from the public. You can go out and easily find it. But Matt Gaetz isn't the kind of guy that wants to go out and find information. He's the kind of guy that wants to go on TV and tell lies because for some reason he is absolutely 100% in love with Donald Trump. And he will do whatever it takes, even if it means disgracing the entire 1st District of Florida here where I'm currently sitting by showing what a disgusting, ignorant suck-up he truly is. Thanks for watching, everybody. And don't forget, if you like what you see here, like, comment, share, and subscribe to our channel. And now you can also become a member of Ring of Fire and get exclusive early access to certain Ring of Fire videos all throughout the week. Just click on the little join button right below the video.